Y'all know that impervious wreck shit that Namor be saying? Well, that translates to Emperor King. And it's not just the saying. It's a damn person. This is Impervious Rex, aka Notless. So the Fantastic Four was in the Romance Trench in the South Atlantic Ocean 2 days ago, right? And they end up finding this door down there. So we go to right now. They end up going back there and opening that motherfucking door. And they met up with Notless. At first, they thought that was Namor. They was like, nah, that motherfucker's still locked up if you read Avengers Assemble Omega. Sue said, man, that motherfucker looked like an offspring of a Lumerian and an Atlantean. Bro used the spell that started talking to them. So fucking Sue and Human Torch attacked his ass. She put a damn thing around him and he fired his ass up. He was like, that was unpleasant and unnecessary. No matter the amount of time that has passed during my confinement, it is good to know that force has remained a universal language. Human Torch was like, brace yourself. The thing was like, anyone else think this is gonna hurt? That's where we go to the sea cage prison where Namor is at. A visible woman go to him and said, Reed and Walt are lost. In searching for them, we encountered a rather large and disgruntled opponent. He was a hybrid Atlantean and Lumerian, and he wielded magic. He's like, don't tell me. The imbeciles were exploring their Romance Trench and released Notless from his prison. She's like, apparently so. Who then promptly threw the Fantastic Three in a Fantastic car to 10,000 feet out of the Atlantic Ocean by way of get off my line. I need information. He said, what you need is a new name for that damn fucking car. He said, you have awakened and released Notless, first king of the United Atlantis Lumerian Confederacy. After the devastation of the Athens War 4,000 years ago, a small population of biracial hybrids, a group that had been marginalized, called for unity and equality in the reconstruction of our cities. From those protests emerged Notless, the Emperor King, from whom the phrase Imperious Rex was coined. He was a most persuasive voice in those whom his oratory would not sway. Soon learned that had the power to crush them, a master of Lumerian thermology with the ability to control the currents and solidify water. Notless forced his way to the crown. He led the Confederacy for nearly a century before his arrogance and aggressions led the people to rebel. He said, if given the opportunity, he gonna try to fucking take over the land and water again. So these guards is outside, right, arguing about who better, Steph Curry or fucking LeBron James. That's when the damn Fantastic Four took off and went back down there. They was talking about the damn universal translator that Reed got in his suit, included a long dormant Lemurian Atlantean hybrid dialect. But this motherfucker has Doctor Strange-like spells, and it allowed him to understand modern-day English. And then some more spells to provide oxygen for Reed and the restrainers both. So while Notless was up here studying the technology, Reed was talking to him about basically how being forced to people to do shit led to fear, and fear led to a lot of other shit. And bro right here in the red was like, I am a breather who knows something of your people's history. Why have I never heard of you, Notless? Because I terrified them so much that they tried to erase me from history. That is what happened to Tyrus as he tried to squeeze Mr. Fantastic. Tyrant, I was the Impervious Rex, named by my people for a reason. And that drove those who oppressed me to rebel. Maybe they just thought, it's clobbering time. This thing came through, cracked his ass. Human Torch fucking flamed his ass again. So while they was fighting, Thing ass fucking tried to hit his ass with a punch that could topple a building. But a man whose body that could withstand the pressures of an ocean floor and was ready for this punch just shrugged it off. And the red dude was like, we don't need to fight Reed. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? He said, I hope Reed heard what I had noticed, the signs around us. He said, Walter's right. Notless is not who we think he is. He said, look at the signals to around his this shit right here. So they read it, and that's when they realized, like, he emerged from a prison. He spoke a hybrid dialect of both Atlantean and Lemurian and merging. He wanted a merging of both languages. The signals are segregated by the two underwater races. You weren't in prison for stealing the crown or conquering his people. Your sin was in trying to unite your people. Make them one race, moving forward together rather than divided. So they talked for a minute. He's like, look, you want to see what your fucking people been doing since you ass been in prison and what happened to them? He took them to where Black Panther destroyed Atlantis. He's like, they dead? He's like, nah, they scattered in search of safety and possibly need of a leader who can save them out of the ego, not out of revenge, but out of the desire to unify them. He's like, I have much to learn, much to understand, and much to consider so that I do not repeat the mistakes of my past. So they leave his ass alone, right? They let him go and shit like that because they feel like he gonna be a good guy. He goes over to the city and sees the damn head of fucking of Namor and shit. And he says, I will not fail again. Our people will be as one. They will thrive. And this time, any who doubt me, fear me, or oppose me will die. Now, the Fantastic Four left, and they left us with a question. Time will tell if we made a mistake today. And if we have, will history forgive as easily as it forgot Notless? And that was the end. And all that shit went down in that giant-sized Fantastic Four.